All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're choosing to use this as a study guide. We're going through the Unit 10 review study guide, as you can see here. Like this a little bit bigger here to kind of see some stuff. And I'll adjust the size as we go through. We are just going to go through and get all of the right answers. You can use this as a study guide or as a note card for the test. And hopefully, while you are doing that, you are um, getting on the right answers, putting it into your review, because you will have that and it will be available for you to be a study guide and you can get the right grades. Let's check this out here. Our first equation, our question is to look for an equation in slope-intercept form where m is -3 and b is 4. So if we notice here, y equals mx plus b is our slope-intercept form. Our m is right here before the x, so we're going to put a -3 in for that spot. And plus our b is at the end, plus b, our b is a +4, so we're going to put plus 4. And that's it. That's all it is for that first one. Just a reminder how to get to slope-intercept form. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, let me readjust the size here so that we can see the whole answer. And number 2 here, we have point slope form. That's that second one, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Our slope, our m, is 1/2, and we're using the point 8, 6. Remember, that's x1 and y1. So if we're looking at our equation, it's the opposite of y1 first, y minus y1. So the opposite of y1. y1 is +6, so we are going to write -6. Then our slope comes after the equal sign, that's 1/2. And then x, the opposite of x1. x1 is 8, the opposite of 8 is -8. We're done. That's all it is. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 on here, we are doing point slope form again. Our slope is -2. Our point is 8, -2, x1 and y1. Okay, y1 is -2. The opposite of -2 is +2. Make sure you put that plus sign in there. Our slope, our m, is -2, and the opposite of 8 is -8. That's all it is. We're just substituting into the equation. Our key is the opposite of the y and the opposite of the x. Let's go to number 4. Still writing in point slope form. Our slope is 6. Our full point is 4, 5. Again, x1 and y1. Opposite of 5 is -5. Our slope is 6. Opposite of x is -4. And that's it. Let's try number 5. Still doing similar things, point slope form, but we're not given the slope this time. We need to find the slope. So what we do is we rewrite our points, 1, 2, and -3, 6. This is our table. That's the x, that's the y. We need to find the change in y. 2 to 6 is +4. The change in y over the change in x. The change in y was +4. The change in x, 1 to -3 is -4. That reduces down, +4 over -4 equals just -1. And notice how it says simplify the slope to a whole number, so we're going to use -1. And then it says you can choose either point, so you can have 2 equations here. Our first one, we'll choose this first point here, 1, 2. The opposite of the y is -2. The slope is -1. The opposite of the x is -1. We use this point. Or if you choose this point, we'll do it in blue here. The opposite of the y is -6. The slope is still -1. And the opposite of -3 is +3. So depending on which point you pick, you could do either one of those. Both are the correct answer. Clear that. Let's go to number 6. We are again going through finding the change in y. Let's use a different color. That's a little hard to see. Change in y, which is +8. So 8 over. The change in x is +4. 8 over 4 is 2. down right there. Okay, we're going to use this first point here first. So y, opposite of the y1 is -2. Opposite of the x is -8. And let's use a blue one to do the other one if we chose the other point, because we can choose either point. Opposite of the y is -10. 2 is still the same as the slope. Opposite of 12 is -12. Okay, so purple or pink, we use the top point. Blue, we use the bottom point. Notice the slopes are always the same. The only thing changing is the x and y coordinates. And if I were to graph both of these, they would give you the exact same line. Go number 7. We're going to start converting here. We want to change this into slope-intercept form. So if I were to start it out here, let's start writing up here y minus 6 equals 4 times x plus 2. When going into slope-intercept form, we're going to do 2 steps. First thing you're going to do is distribute the m. Remember, the m is right here for the point-slope form. In step 2, you're going to add or subtract the y1, depending on what y1 is currently in the equation. So first thing you're going to do is distribute. We're going to distribute that m through the parenthesis. So we're going to get y minus 6, 4 times x, and 4 times positive 2, which is 8. That's step 1. Step 2, add or subtract the y1. Well, we're subtracting it right now, so we got to add it instead. And we're going to add 6 to both sides. Y minus 6, and we're going to add 6 to it. It becomes 0. So we're left with y equals, we're bringing that 4x straight down. 8 plus 6 is plus 14. So as I'm filling in, y, my slope is 4, and x plus 14. Make sure you include that plus sign. And that's how we do these for all of the ones going from point slope form into slope intercept form. Use this method. Go to number 8. We're going into slope intercept form from standard form. And there's only one step for this. Let's write it over here. 2x plus 4y equals 16. Well, there's actually 2 steps on these. Step 1, we want to add or subtract the mx. This is, or sorry, not the mx. Let me erase that really quick. Oh, bummer. Let's start this over. Should have used the eraser button, not this button. 2x plus 4y equals 16. What you want to do, not mx, we are step 1, since we're in standard form, you want to add or subtract the ax. Since we're in standard form, we want to add or subtract this ax. And then step 2, we're going to divide by the capital B, which is this one right here. All right? So first step, let's add or subtract ax. We're adding it currently, so let's do the opposite and subtract it. We get 4y equals negative 2x plus 16. Okay, step 1. Step 2 is divide by b, that number in front of the y, which is a 4, and we divide by the whole thing. We're left with y equals, we're going to reduce negative 2/4 to negative 1/2. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And then we can substitute in negative 1/2 x plus 4. Again, include that plus sign. And you're done. Use these 2 steps to go from standard form to slope-intercept form every time. Number 9, we want to go from slope-intercept form to standard form. Okay. Our equation is y equals negative 2x plus 10. Notice we want to go to standard form. Standard form has the x and the y on the same side. So our one step in this equation is to add or subtract, in this case, the mx, because we're starting here. We're going to add or subtract that mx. And that's going to be it. We're going to be done with this one. Okay. We have a minus 2x, so we're going to add 2x. And again, we're going to do that to both sides of the equation. You got to balance it. So we're going to get 2x plus y equals, those cancel, 10. We got 2x plus y, so what goes here? Not a 0, a 1, because remember when there's no number in front of there, it's a 1. And then that last one is going to be positive 10, but we don't have to write plus. 2x plus 1y equals 10. And you're all done. 2 more to go. Number 10, we want to go from standard point slope form into standard form. This is going to be a 3-step process. We're going to do basically the 2 steps that we did from our first problem and the 3rd step, which will be the one we did in our last problem. So we're going to start with y minus 7 equals 3 times x plus 4. Again, 3 steps. Step 1, distribute the m. Step 2, add or subtract y1. Step 3, we want to add or subtract mx. Okay, so let's go through these. First step, distribute the m. Y minus 7 equals 3x plus 3 times 4, which is 12. Step 2, add or subtract y1, doing the opposite of 7, negative 7, which is positive 7. And we get y equals 3x plus 19. And then finally, add or subtract the mx, which is this one right here. Opposite of a positive 3x is a negative 3x. And we're left with negative 3x plus y equals 19. Negative 3x plus 1y equals 19. So it's just like the last couple problems, we're just putting all 3 of those steps together. Okay, make sure you know these. You'll have to do that. And lastly, we're doing pretty much the same exact thing, writing all 3 equations down here. Same process, but first thing we need to do is we need to find a slope. Actually, there's a shortcut on this one I'm going to show you. And 0, 8. Change in y plus 6. Change in x minus 6. 6 over negative 6 equals negative 1, which is your m. That's your slope. I'm going to put it right there. And then it says choose the point 6, 2. Opposite of 2 is negative 2. Opposite of 6 is negative 6. Again, x1 and y1. Hey, that's our point slope form. What's nice about our next one going into slope intercept form, we already know our slope, so negative 1 for our slope. And then we actually already know our b because we were given the point 0, 8. Whenever x is 0 and y has a value, that is our y-intercept. So our b actually equals 8. So it's going to be plus 8. You don't have to do any sort of solving of an equation to get there. Okay. And then our last one, let me use my eraser really quick here, get rid of some of this stuff. Our last one is to get it into standard form. Currently, we are at y equals negative 1x plus 8. We want to get to standard form, so we're going to do the opposite of mx to both sides. We're going to get 1x plus y equals 8, which means that our final answer is going to be, sorry, let me erase these two now that we're past it. We're going to have 1x plus 1y equals 8. And you're all done. I will say as we get into the test for this unit, we're going to have a drop-down kind of multiple choice selection here because I've been noticing students struggling with that. I'll actually show it to you here in a second. So our last problem on this practice test, let me bounce back into our week 10 folder here and show you just a little bit of preview of the test here. As you get into it, you're going to have drop-down options for every question, just because I wanted to make it a little bit more accessible to students. You're also going to have drag and drop options for these as well. So it makes it a little bit easier, takes a little bit of the guesswork on what signs you have to put in there. So hopefully that was easy for you. Hopefully you did a great job. Let me know if you have any questions. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. Bye.